Hi friends, we're here to talk about demand shift policies in the United States.
This graph is your classic supply-demand graph on a macroeconomic level. On the x-axis, we have quantity produced in the economy, which is the GDP. On the y-axis, we have the price levels in the economy. In addition to the supply and demand graphs, the aggregate supply, aggregate demand model also has a long-run aggregate supply graph, which is a straight line because it's really only affected by a change in resources and technology, so it's not sloped.
There are many different shifters of the supply and demand graphs. For demand shift policies like fiscal and monetary policies, basically more money means a right demand shift, but less money means a left demand shift.
Here's the basics about fiscal policy. First of all, fiscal policy is not the addition of money into the economy. Rather, it is moving money throughout the economy more intensely. Alright, here's the lowdown.
Fiscal policy was created by everyone's favorite economist, John Maynard Keynes. The theory basically states that governments can influence macroeconomic production through either expansionary or contractionary policies.
Essentially, the government employs expansionary fiscal policy during a recession when the quantity of goods produced is less than the normal quantity produced, aka GDP is less during an economic period. That government can either cut taxes or increase deficit spending to speed up the flow of money and close a recessionary gap.
Read my lips. No new taxes.
On the other hand, if the government is overproducing, this could lead to inflation, which is bad. To solve this, the government should use contractionary fiscal policy. This means it should raise taxes and cut spending, slowing down the flow of money and lowering prices to stop inflation.
Taxes! Beautiful, lovely taxes!
We talked about how fiscal policy does not control the amount of money in the economy, but the intensity of its flow. Monetary policy, on the other hand, controls the supply of money in the economy. The process by which the monetary authority of a country controls the supply of money, often targeting an inflation rate or interest rate to ensure price stability and general trust, is known as monetary policy. In the US of A, the monetary authority is known as the Federal Reserve, or the Fed. The Fed controls the supply of money in the US and uses expansionary and contractionary monetary policy to control the economy.
While fiscal policy is government control of demand, monetary policy is the control of the economy through banks. You can consider the Fed to be the boss of all banks in the US. The Fed has many ways to control the money supply, but its end goal is to change interest rates in the US.
To expand the money in the economy, the Fed can lower the interest rates for banks, allow banks to loan out more money, and buy government bonds in US bond markets. This allows more money to circulate in the economy, which drives interest rates down, which increases aggregate demand in the economy. This can be used to solve recessions and increase unemployment.
To decrease the supply of money in the economy, the Fed can raise the interest rates for banks and stop banks from loaning out too much money and sell government bonds in US bond markets. This allows less money to circulate in the economy, which drives interest rates up, which decreases aggregate demand in the economy. This can be used to solve unemployment and stop overproduction and inflation.
What happened? We're rich. We're poor.
Okay, so obviously we didn't go in depth about all these demand shift policies, but hopefully this gave you an understanding about how these policies work. There are a number of ways that these two policies fall short, which is why no one is able to fully solve economic crises right away. However, these two policies are a huge tool for our policymakers to solve economic problems.
So that's all you need to know about these two policies. Now you all are masters of fiscal and monetary policy. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate you doing this for me. Okay.